Okay guys, now we're moving into step 3 of the program, which is creating a clear plan. So we've gone through our holistic health wheel and understood what's important for us in our lives, what's going to make us thrive. And then we're going to start working with that in terms of seeing what we're already doing and doing well, and then start tweaking the things that can help us with our pillars and our tools, so we can then start finding that purpose and meaning and that true wellness. So we're first of all going to dive into the holistic health wheel and see what and how to put that system and structure into our daily lives. We can't overload ourselves with this whole program. It's about just being compassionate with ourselves, just taking our time with patience. Now, once we move through that holistic health wheel, we're then going to have a look at that step 1, which is that vision of the future, how we want to be, and then create that thought, and then experience, and then emotion, and then pull that to us. So we're going to create like a book, our vision of the future. We're going to use imagery, and we start putting some goals down. So 5-year goals, 2-year goals, and then a real big picture of how we want to be, how we want to feel. That's not a result or an outcome. It's actually just about living the rest of our lives and being. We're going to have a look at personal development goals and things that we're going to need to do on a daily basis to achieve that. We're then going to identify heroes and who we look up to, and so we can start to visualize how they act and see how they act, and then pull that back towards us. We'll also look at daily routines and structures around that vision of the future. So we're creating a bit of a clear plan. But the most important part is the task of you is to find images of where you are now, of who you are, things that give you passion, that give you purpose and give you meaning, and then you put that down and you check that visually every single day. And then we start having a look at the actions that you're going to need to do every day, and you visually see how you progress through that. You know, like a simple image of a staircase effect, which is moving towards where we are now, moving towards that vision of the future. So once we've done that, once we've worked on that, this is forever changing and ever moving, because our personal development and our visions will always change, and our goals will always change. But we just want a nice little clear outline of that. Now, once we move through that, we're going to get to the second part of it, which is the mastery over the mind and the body, becoming more in tune with our body and its needs. We've already gone through the holistic health wheel, and that's when we start using tests. We start doing blood tests, we start checking and testing and monitoring. We want to be able to monitor what happens to our body under stress through the foods that we eat after exercise, so that when we start using those tools, we can start to see what that does to our mind and through our body. So we'll get some blood glucose monitors, be able to test that. We can also use Oura Ring. This is my Oura Ring here, and it records your sleep stats. It's the most amazing thing that it can do, and it also tests and monitors our heart rate variability. Now, our heart rate variability it's different to our heart rate. Our heart rate just goes up and down as we exercise or we relax. Our heart rate variability occurs sort of like during the night, and the higher the heart rate variability, the better our health is, the more we're recovered, and the better we're able to perform the next day. So having a low heart rate variability is bad. It means that our body hasn't recovered, it's constantly under stress, and it's not working to its full potential. So we want to be able to monitor that heart rate variability with those blood glucose, and also getting our blood test done, so we can then put that into a system and start finding our functional biomarkers. Now, biomarkers are identifiable markers within the body that tell us where we are, like high cholesterol or low cholesterol, liver function and inflammation and those sort of things. So that's a big part of this, is that we want to be able to test and monitor and observe these things that are happening within our body. So that's when we'll go through that testing and monitoring, and we start looking at how we can implement that into our daily lives without overloading. Okay, then we'll start moving through that circle of truth, clearing the noise to find our center point. That's when we want to create that awareness of the noise. Where does that noise come from? The internal and the external. And when we start to identify that, we can start to observe how they affect us. So we can start thinking about that, what I think I want, the should have, the would haves, the could haves, and then we start moving through to what I want. Now that process is we're able to write down some of those thoughts. So we've got triggers. We can understand what triggers us to have those thoughts. So then we can be prepared to counteract with our own positive self-talk. So we'll be able to go through that, and so we can start challenging those thoughts and start pushing against that inner critic and start reframing any negative thoughts that we have with the positive ones that are going to take us towards that vision of the future. So that's that circle of truth, becoming, and by being, we then therefore do, and that's when we really show our full potential and our high performance. Okay, then we start going to our stress and understanding our stress chart and changing our relationship to stress. There's a physiological thing that happens when we're under stress and fear. Now, it's the same thing that happens when we feel excitement and joy. It's just our perception of it. So it's a pretty powerful understanding that there's very little that happens within the body from fear and stress with joy and excitement. It's just our perception of that, or the outcome of it. So when we start having a look, we'll have a look at that chart. We start working within those numbers, understanding 1, 2, 3, 4, and understanding how we can stay in our 5 and 6 range, so that when we do go up to that 7, 8, 9, we can bring it back down to that 6 and stay in that state of high performance. It's about toggling between our steady state and our high performance state. So that's how we'll really work on that. So we've got better knowledge, self-knowledge, of being able to move between those ranges. Then we dive into that personal growth. We want to start bringing up our subconscious. We want to dive into the subconscious and become more aware of it. And that's a big self-talk process. How we talk to ourselves is a really big factor around that. And being aware of this whole process and what's going to happen from it. As I said in that quote, if we perfect the body, we have to guard the mind, but we renew the body, we beautify the mind. We're beautifying the mind because we are renewing our body, and the body's going to want to push back. So we start moving through those steps of self-gratitude, self-forgiveness, self-compassion, and self-love. And that comes to the internal dialogue, and that's a whole self-talk process that we'll be working our way through, so that we've got the tools there to be able to say, okay, I'm going to respond to this in a positive way, as opposed to reacting in an automatic subconscious way. So that's the clear plan that we'll then be working over the next 4 months on. This is when we start getting into the program, and there's a lot within this program, but the idea is that we're putting it together into a clear plan. We're not going to overload it. We can always come back to it, but the next 4 months we're really going to be looking at how we structure it into your lives, so you can then come back to it and tweak it when you need to, because we all live pretty busy lives, but we want to be able to clear that noise, to find our center point, and really achieve that high performance, that true expression of our greatness and our full potential. And we want to be able to do it with more physical, mental, and emotional energy, and for longer periods of time. That's what our whole aim here is. We want to be able to trust in our thoughts when we're under stress and when we're under pressure, and really believe in ourselves, so that we can just openly express our true potential. So that's the clear plan. That's the next 4 months. So to sign up, click through. Now, you guys are my people, so I want to offer you a discount on that. So when you guys do sign up, I want you to be able to come through and experience this first off, because this is the first time I'm launching this program. So I'm really excited about being able to do that, and I want to offer it to you because I feel it's an amazing program, because it's helped me come out of my pain and my suffering, and help me achieve my levels of high performance, and take me to and I know that it's going to take me into the future with even greater levels of energy and health, and with that sustainable high performance. So I'm really excited, and I look forward to having you on board and taking you through this program.